Here, you don't call us for it. And you don't direct us listen to. It's only the chair who can do that. So be a witness and respect the committee of parliament. This is not your day, it is us. We can decide and close. Will you speak to chairs? No. Me, I've ever appeared before a committee here. I'm very respectful. And I take guidance from members of the committee. So what kind of pressure are you under? What is really itching you that now you want to force things even on members of parliament? Let us not go beyond.
Chair,
let me guide you.
National Consultative Forum is established under Section 20 of the Act. And it applies to all the parties, whether briefcase as you're calling them, they are under that. And you're not under any duty. You're not compelled to be a member of the National Consultative Forum. Okay? You can choose not to be. But we are saying the moment if you are to benefit, you must be a member of the National Consultative Forum. And where we are creating two organs. The first organ that is going to be under iPod for the parties that are already represented in Parliament. And then the other one for those that are not represented in the Parliament. In fact, this amendment does not cause any constitutional crisis or it does not, in any way contravene any provision, particularly Article 29. Nobody is saying that you should not associate. We are saying associate. You have your different parties. But as long as you want to benefit from government funds, then you must adhere to the principles of 1, tolerance, 2, dialogue, 3, peaceful coexistence as parties, because that is the rationale behind the Political Parties and the Organizations Act. You understand? Nobody is forcing you.
Honorable Yusuf,
listen.
Where is that in the Constitution?
What we are listen. Colleagues, Chair, please allow me submit. My colleagues,
we know we are colleagues, but when you appear here, you are a witness. So you cannot start ordering members of the committee.
But you have to. It is through the chair. You are not.
No, we can cite you for contempt and even move that you be.
I think you need to be.
You should respect the committee. And we are the one going to accept and make a law. It's not you. So
Chair, I apologize if my voice is to that extent, but for those who have listened to me before, you know that's my voice. Chair, what I'm saying is that for those who have ever listened to me, you know how my voice is. It's not the first time that he's doing that. But, colleagues, let us understand why we are here. Someone has said he has, Honorable Sarah said he does not understand this particular aspect. And it's for that reason that we should carefully listen to the movers. One, we are saying that the parties are free to associate. Nobody is forcing anyone to make a merger or an alliance. We are only saying that when you look at this act, it has got principles that must be adhered to. You may have your different principles in your respective parties, but for purposes of you. Because you see, getting funds for the parties is created under Section 14 of this Act. And it's that section that we are saying, look, whereas you need to be given money as a party, there are some principles that we must adhere to. 1, tolerance. 2, dialogue. 3, peaceful coexistence as parties. Now, those principles are enshrined already in this act. We are not creating anything new. And now, once that is done, we are saying that we have iPod, all the parties that are represented in Parliament. Okay, it has just been an informal organization. We are formalizing it under the act as part of the organ of National Consultative Forum. Now, if you don't want to be a part of, if you don't want to associate with the iPod, colleagues, let's listen to this. If you don't want to associate with the iPod, then you should have no business accessing the government funds.
No, what we are saying is,
no, but if you exist, the members,
Honorable members, let the mover respond. The rest is for us.
The rest is yours. You don't have the time.
We can't an exercise in futility. If we are not moving with him, if he's not communicating, we are asking simple questions like, show us where you get these principles in the Constitution, which is our supreme law. Yes.
You look at the directive.
Let him point them out. Let him point them out.
There in the Constitution.
The issues of you look for directive. See, you just look at those principles. Chair, why don't you give me time to respond?
Chair,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, Chair.
I have a prayer. Because the only thing, just put your points across.
Okay, Chair. Let me just make this very clear, and I request members to listen to me.
Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Chair.
I think for the sake of the mover, let us try to listen to him, please. But let him also say things which can make us listen to him.
And I want to add the chair. I want to add, you are the chair. Even when they are here, you don't call us colleagues. And you don't direct us listen to. It's only the chair who can do that. So be a witness and respect the committee of parliament. This is not your day, it is us. We can decide and close. Will you speak to chairs? No. Me, have ever appeared before a committee here. I'm very respectful. And I take guidance from members of the committee. So what kind of pressure are you under? What is really itching you that now you want to force things even on members of parliament? Let us not go beyond.
Chair.
Let me guide you. You have been here in this chair.
Chair,
you know how witnesses are treated.
Yes, Chair.
When you come to parliament,
I request that I request that be. But even you heard someone was saying that Honorable Mutemburi, our colleague here, they have been saying that, and there is nothing that stops me from saying my colleagues. It is true, I'm a witness. Chair, allow me make this point, and then I will allow my colleague to come in. One, we are saying that the National Consultative Forum is created for under Section 20 of the Act. And what we are only doing is that we want to expand the forum and create two organs. One that will be known as IPOD, and the second one that will cater for parties that are not represented in the parliament. That is what we intend to do. The second aspect is under Section 14 of this Act. Okay? Talks about funding of parties. Okay? And now, what we are proposing is that for us to have dialogue, to have tolerance, to have peaceful coexistence as enshrined in this Act, okay? We are saying that the moment you want to access government funds, okay? Call them public funds, then you must be a member of the National Consultative Forum. If you don't want the funds, don't bother to be a member, because you're not going you want to get the money, but at the same time you don't want to be a member of the National Consultative Forum. So that is our point.
Let us now have, that one has been well canvassed.
Yeah,
no,
but
it's now for us to decide whether
point of clarification.
Something small, Mr. Chairman.
Point of clarification.
I want some clarity. Some clarity.
We are proposing an amendment to Section 14, and it's very clear. It only applies to parties in the parliament, not those outside. Yes. No, the amendment. Listen, when you look at the object, we are creating a situation that government is supposed to give funds. But we are saying there are some principles that must be adhered to. And we are saying there is a National Consultative Forum that requires any party that is interested to be part of it. And we are saying the moment you're part of it and you're in parliament, then you automatically qualify to have that contribution from the government. But if you choose not to be party to National Consultative Forum, then you cease to have such benefits. That is the intention of this amendment.
Okay, now what we are going to do before...
For us, we know your concern. You want within the National Consultative Forum some platform, let's call it like that, for tolerance, peaceful coexistence and something. And you have suggested the name called iPod. Now for us, we say, we agree with your principle, but we shall call it a summit, a committee, a council, a caucus or something like that.
So you don't want the name?
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting first. I want them to answer, definitely. That's the first thing I want you to answer.
So your nature, you can have anything else as long as it is not.
Would you be comfortable with anything else?
As long as it is not, as long as it brings out the principle.
Yeah, that's the first one. Then the
as
second
long as
one,
it brings out the principle.
The second one, I'm voluntary. So if I create one platform called the National Dialogue, and all these parties eventually say, this is very good, they join, are we going to amend the law to also bring in the National Dialogue or the interreligious sub-platform for dialogue for political parties, call it whatever name? Are we going to be, supposing these same 7 political parties agree and join another platform which have created or they have created and they are dialoguing, will we amend the law to also now bring it here?
The amendment of the law, if there is a mischief that it requires to be cured, you will be at liberty to do that. But at the moment, we have pointed out the mischief. You have answered? Fine.
Committee for all the submissions and the clarifications and questions towards us to understand the bill much more further and come up with a better concrete written report. That I take it up. Second, I want to, in summary, say that the act we want to amend was established on the principles of the Constitution. And therefore, we do believe that the previous lawmakers never contravened the parent act. We've just come up with 3 amendments to our act. That said, the 2 critical issues is on the name. And I think we take that by good faith, much as we've agreed on the underlying principles. But allow me to say this. Government, over time, has taken up private initiatives. We do understand that iPod was established by, with the support from the Dutch. And over time, based on our history, it has achieved, in our view, the intended outcome. And that's why we are seeing democratization happening in place. And for sustainability, if now we have proposed this to be taken up for sustainability, I want to believe and share with the committee that this is in good faith, that the already good works done by iPod can now be sustainable, taken up by, under this act. We now regularize it so that it becomes an act which is inclusive enough. The last one is corporations are voluntary under NCF, under any means. And therefore, this act has not, the amendments, we've not really seen a word called coercion in our amendments. Our proposals are in the spirit of the Constitution that to cooperate is voluntary. And we've seen cooperations between the major party in the House and within even the oppositions within. And those are the principles we want to continuously adhere to in these amendments. That said,
if cooperation is voluntary, non-cooperation should not attract any sanctions. The problem is you are introducing sanctions for non-cooperation. The sanctions you are introducing non-access to public funds.
Now, the last, now allow me finish on this. We are witnesses, but as Parliament, we are part of the, we are accountable to the population. Every penny that we spend on, every penny we appropriate on should be accounted. And I've not seen where accountability is not enshrined in our mandate. And if therefore conditioning comes with accountability and transparency, I've never seen where you're given money and it's free will.
They have been accountable to the Electoral Commission. That can happen to the Electoral Commission.
Chair.
The accountability is to the principle enshrined in the Act.
Chair, Chair, please
I submit.
give him some information.
Yeah, because
Yes, I've been there. One, iPod has not achieved its intended objectives. That's why yesterday you saw a member, a party president of a political party, very furious because of that. Then two, and iPod is not an association whereby you benefit because of subscription. But then finally, I want to ask you, clear my mind on this. There are parties which are under National Consultative Forum. If we decide to delete the word parties in Parliament and then we open that this funding should be given to all parties, would that be good for you? Because you are saying people who are associated, people who, transparency, everything, because all those parties, they have members outside, they have offices and everything. Back to you.
Chair, the parties, the 5 parent parties that came up with this idea of iPod in 2001, FBC, CP, that we have derailed away from there. This is my thinking. But now opening it up, because opening it up, our view is that they were legislating for their own benefits because they were in Parliament then. That's why they said iPod only belongs to the parties in Parliament. But we are now saying, look, we had, allow me, Chair, give this example. We have many political parties that participated in the previous election. Not all of their members have representatives in Parliament, but some have in LC5, some have in LC3 in other political space. If the committee, in their own view, because you are the one, if in your own view you think we progress with this to open it up, it's upon us as the committee. But our proposal is for them to be represented and NCF, I submit.
yes or no? You consult?
Chair, you have told us that we shall bring more information on this, as to whether we have consulted or not. But Chair, also to point out one thing,
Yes.
that whether we have consulted them or not, this committee has got the powers to invite those parties and interact with them.
Okay.
And all those issues that we feel we have left out. But the Chair just wanted to conclude by saying that we are only causing 3 amendments. One under section 14, which talks about the government contributing funds to the parties. And what we are saying is that if any party is to benefit from such funds...
That point is well canvassed.
Yes, I'm just giving a summary. Then such a party shall...
Chair.
Much obliged, Chair. Chair is talking about...
The points are very clear. You are creating